Welcome everyone to day 3 of Resurrection Countdown. Well, third Sunday of Resurrection Countdown. And again, Joanna and I will be discussing a Bible verse with you. Maybe a couple of verses. So take it away.
So this Sunday we shall be reading from 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 9 to 10. Indeed, we had the sentence of death within ourselves, so that we would not trust in ourselves, but in God, who raises the dead, who delivered us from so great a peril of death, and will deliver us. He, on whom we have set our hope, and he will yet deliver us.
These are such peaceful and beautiful words. Yeah. Again, Paul never disappoints to write these beautiful words for us Christians. And if we were to dissect these verses, see how beautifully Paul writes, who delivered us from so great a peril of death. And again, we go back to one big test that awaits all of us as soon as we're born, which is death, right? As soon as you're born, we're close to death, right? Every birthday brings us closer to death. And Paul, again, kind of invigorates us Christians, reminding us that Christ died for us and he saved us from this horrible fate that is death. And he saved us from second death is the worst. First death, we will all experience that. And that is sleeping in Christ. The second death is the most horrible thing because that separates us from God.
Yeah.
And Christ defeated death. All we have now is life. He's offering us everlasting life, which every Christian has. And that is such beautiful and hopeful thing that Paul always mentions to us.
And he also highlights how we shouldn't trust within ourselves, but rather put our trust in God. And that's so important and especially very necessary in today's society. We have become so prideful and arrogant, and we always wanted to do things our way. We always think that what we think is right should be done. Not his will be done, but our will. And that's just completely different from what the scriptures and God says to us, to his people. And again, recently Mary and I had to, learn in a most wonderful way how God takes care of his own. We worked hard, we tried all we could, and nothing seemed to be, happening. We couldn't achieve what we wanted to achieve, and the moment we me personally gave up and just gave it to God, he worked in such a way that it will follow us, both of us, for the rest of our lives. And this is just such a small little thing. Like if I were to narrate everything and talk about these details, for some person it wouldn't even matter. But to me, that was powerful. And this is how God works today. He doesn't just knock on your door and you don't see Angel Gabriel, maybe like Mary saw him, but now he works individually and subtly, and you have to be willing to pay attention. And most importantly, you have to be willing to listen to him. You have to be willing to trust him. And you have to be willing to understand that you are pathetic and weak without him. That you, no matter how great you are, no matter what sort of, position in life you have, it doesn't matter to God. It doesn't matter to your Creator. So let's lean on him and let's trust our deliverer.
Right, because even as Christians, if you think about it, it's sometimes hard to trust Jesus Christ all the time. And sometimes we do things on our own. We might be very hardworking, trying to achieve something, but we forget God. And when you take Jesus Christ out of the equation, you're bound to get disappointed. And I'm sure all of us, if we were to look into our lives, this would be true. If God is not in your life, if you're doing things without him, eventually you will fail in life. So that is the most powerful thing, to know, to trust in him, to lean on him. Just like Jesus taught us the prayer, Our Father in heaven, your will be done, right? We might have our wants, desires, and that's fine. But when we want something, we always have to make sure that we add, your will be done. Because sometimes our will is not the same as God's will, right? We see a little bit corner of a picture, right? Just one side, but the Lord sees the bigger picture. So he knows what's best for us. And that's actually should be very comforting to us because we know that God is our Father, and fathers most of the time, want what's best for their children, right?
Good
so
fathers.
you lean on good fathers, and you lean on him knowing that he will make a way for you. He will be there for you. After all, he defeated death for you. And now all we have is everlasting life. And we trust in this hope, and we live this life knowing that eventually we will receive this gift. Well, we already have this gift, but we don't see it, right? When we pass away, when we sleep in Christ, we're going to see this gift, and we will meet Jesus face to face, and our faith will become sight. So our hope is in that, and every day we live, each day we thank God for the day he gave us. We thank God and remember what he did for us, and that invigorates us, that motivates us.
So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday, and we shall see you again very soon.
Next Sunday.
God bless.
Take care in the meantime. God bless.